Hey everybody, Magic Unicorn here. I'm a Destiny 2 streamer on Twitch, and I also run Destiny 101 on Saturdays, which is a way for me to help Xbox players through specific activities within Destiny. This last week we focused on Reckoning, so I'm going to talk through a bit of that here today. When Season of the Drifter came out, Bungie introduced 4 classes tied to Gambit: the Collector, the Reaper, the Sentry, and the Invader. In order to unlock these 4 classes, or subclasses within Gambit, you need to collect armor sets for each of the 4, and to get that armor, you need to do the Reckoning. Reckoning can be done at 3 different tiers: weak, middling, and powerful, and you need to upgrade a synthesizer in order to get armor at the highest level. To start off, you'll have to complete a bounty from the Drifter. He can be found in the Annex. Once you finish that bounty, that will unlock the weak synthesizer. That will give you level 1 gear for any of those 4 classes. In order to upgrade your synthesizer from a weak to a middle, you'll need to finish a prime weekly bounty. There are usually 4 of these offered, 1 for each of the 4 classes, and each will require you to win 4 rounds of Reckoning, and then also finish some sort of activity tied to the class, like defeating blockers or getting kills as an invader. So finish whichever one you think best suits your playstyle, or whichever one you think looks easiest. Upgrading your synthesizer is key before really going after those armor sets. Once you finish that prime weekly bounty, you can upgrade your synthesizer, which shows up in your quest tab, from the weak to the middling, but you'll have to wait for a new reset and a new prime weekly bounty to finish that and upgrade from a middling synthesizer to a powerful synthesizer. So it'll take at least over a week or up to 2 weeks to finish upgrading your synthesizer. Okay. Oof, a hunter? Don't oof a hunter at me, Golden Raven. What the heck? You mean ooh, a hunter. Yo, what's up, Crayon? Speaking of crayons, Raven, are you a Titan main? Oh, come on, come on. A quick overview of Reckoning. There are 3 stages if you're running Tier 3 Reckoning. Only 1 stage for Tier 1, 2 stages for Tier 2. In the first stage, you have to just kill waves of enemies until you get up to 100%. One thing to note here, it is time-based, so as time goes on, you can lose percentage. So occasionally I would load into Reckoning with matchmaking on, and I would be the only person there. It is almost impossible to complete 100% of killing ads solo because of that loss in percentage over time. So something to note in that first wave. The second wave is called Bridge of Folly. It's actually like a ramp that you have to scale with a bunch of ads killing along the way. There's 6 circles that you need to capture on the way up the Bridge of Folly, and the whole team, pretty much the whole time, or as much as possible, needs to stand in that circle because of the time constraints on Bridge of Folly. And then once you've scaled Bridge of Folly, you'll get to the final stage, which is the boss fight. There's 2 different variants here. There's a pair of knights, or there's also Oryx. So the pair of knights is very similar to what you find like at the end of Shattered Throne. And then the Oryx is like a shadow of Oryx or a mini Oryx. So the mechanics are very similar to the Oryx fight at the end of King's Fall. There is some prep work involved with Reckoning. First of all, upgrading the synthesizer. Secondly, you have to earn synths in Gambit Prime. Some of these can be from focusing on a specific activity. So if you want to get a Sentry armor set, you really want to focus on blockers. If you want to get enough synths to build a invader set, you're going to want to focus on invading, and so on and so forth. But you can collect a variety of synths running through Gambit Prime. Once you've collected enough synths, you can create motes. Again, this is in your quest tab. Push Y and create the powerful motes in your synthesizer. You get to pick which armor set. So for Tier 3, it's going to require 3 synths to create 1 mote, and it is class specific. So 3 Reaper synths in order to create 1 Tier 3 Reaper mote. It makes more sense when you kind of see it. There could be some back and forth here between running Reckoning and running Gambit Prime, collecting synths, creating motes, running Reckoning, etc. Or if you get a really good team, you might want to just grind one out. When you're prepping for Reckoning, after you've created the mote for the piece of armor you're trying to get, let's say you're trying to get a collector set of armor. So you'll create a collector mote at Tier 3 using 3 collector synths. when you load into Reckoning, whether with a full team or if you're using matchmaking, you want to bank the moat. It'll be a bank on the left-hand side, like a little tower that comes out of the ground. Bank the moat there, and then I highly recommend using a raid banner. So you can get full ammo and full super before even starting Reckoning. It'll just make the process much smoother. Actually, I'll just tether this guy. Oh, look at that shot, though. From downtown! Magic Unicorn! Sorry, get a little excited. That's kind of a general look at Reckoning. I'm going to go and break down a little bit of tips and tricks or some specifics that could help you out. First of all, let's talk about subclasses. Ideally, you want at least one player with the Well of Radiance and one player with a tether. The Well of Radiance is really going to help you out, especially on Bridge of Folly, but it's going to help you in the first and last stages as well with the damage boost and then the overshield and the health regen. A tether is going to be great to produce orbs to help feed to the Well of Radiance. So those two supers really play together very well for handling, loads of adds and also for just damage output. Other than that, if you have those two locked down, I would recommend the other two players run some sort of a DPS based subclass, especially for Bridge of Folly. This is going to be really useful for some of the mini bosses of the yellow health bars that spawn there. Once you have your subclass set up, it's time to look at weapons. Now, for Reckoning, there's also a set of modifiers. This could impact your subclass, but I think it more impacts your weapon choice. So check the modifiers for whatever is on for that week, similar to like a Nightfall modifier would be. So if it's Arc Burn, Solar Burn, Void Burn, you could tweak your subclass to that. I still think Tether and Well would be my go-to, but the other two DPS supers could vary depending on what the burn is. But especially for weapon choice, check what those modifiers are. I loved using weapons that had auto-loading holster. So I used a spare rations and then a submachine gun, both with auto-loading holster. I would just swap back between the two of them and would never need to reload my primary or secondary, especially for the first two stages. So for the first stage, just clearing adds, and for Bridge of Folly, I saved a lot of time that I was not spending reloading by swapping between two auto-loading holster weapons. A third weapon, like whatever's in your heavy slot, I'd recommend something that does max DPS for killing those yellow health bars. So a Leviathan's Breath, Whisper, rocket launcher, maybe a heavy machine gun, something like that. You really want to look for a high damage output in a short amount of time. Another note here, since there's a ton of taken enemies all throughout Reckoning, something like Malfeasance or Wish Ender could be worth trying out. If you like those weapons and have them, those could be really helpful with the taken buff that they have. When you're looking at your abilities, I'd recommend Area of Effect grenades because you're looking for something that has, add control for all these thralls that are constantly rushing you. When I was playing, I main Hunter, I like to use Tether with Invis dodge so that I could hide if I got low on health. Again, that just helped with playing your life. So Area of Effect grenades and set up your subclass to help you with survivability is going to be key. Hope these tips and tricks helped. Again, I run Destiny 101s on Saturday, so if you need help with a specific activity on Xbox, hop on by and we'll do what we can to help you through it. manager? Uh-oh. Hold on, Kieran.
I got
I am the manager. What now?
dropped at 64 stats, so it's just now a 74 with an intellect mod on it. It is